Hello and welcome back again for the third video in a three-part series of recovering from emotional abuse. And if you hear a little bit of chiming around, my dog is meandering around recovering from New Year's last night. So before I get into stage 3, this third video, I just want to cover real quick. If you're new here, my name is Anne. My channel name is Lavender Kisses. I titled it that because as I went through my own healing journey and recovering from emotional abuse and CPTSD and dealing with challenging relationships, I didn't want to stay stuck on the challenges. There are so many challenges you may face and continue to face even into stage 3 of recovery. But I didn't want that to be the biggest part of my focus. So I would look for the areas that were bringing me joy, that were bringing me peace, that I could find comfort in and be grateful for. And that's what I call the Lavender Kisses. Those were the divine areas in my life that kept me propped up and held me while I was creating a sustainable life. So, yeah. And the basis of this channel is to get into real challenges that you may face and things that I found helpful on my own recovery. Hearing what other people went through and how they dealt with situations as they came up was tremendously helpful for me. And I want to pass along that information and hopefully be an inspiration and help to anybody else going through similar challenges. So, phase 3, emotional abuse recovery. Real quick recap. Phase 1 is what I consider when you're learning your own personal chord and strike within you when things, your own resonance of what makes up you. What brings you joy, what makes you sad, what your own personal boundary shape is, and you're getting your toes wet with learning to live from the inside out based off of who you are. And then phase 2 is what I consider the school learning time, where now that you're living more authentic, and for me, it was just a determination to live an authentic life. I was done trying to be anything for anybody, including myself. It's just so difficult when, like, I just really thought I was supposed to get things a certain way. Like, it had to look a certain way, and that there was just something deeply wrong with me, that my life wasn't staying within this mold. Like, it kept spilling out of the edges, or it just would like run over, burn at the bottom of the oven. Like, that's how I felt. Like, I could never get myself rightly into this mold. So once I just got really real and was like, okay, I'm just doing this. And I know God created me for me to live my best life, not to try to fit something that works for somebody else. And I'm doing not only disservice to myself, I'm doing a disservice to Him, because what He's created me to do, my purposes in life, my best life is going to bring me joy. It's not, gotta suffer until I get to the end and finish line, but that's for another video. So you've dipped your toes in, you're accepting your truth for you, and you're moving on with that. Now in phase 2, well, as you stick to that and you hold on to that peace that holds you at times, I had mentioned there could be a tornado that ensues. So that's what happened in my world. Like, everything basically fell to the ground because I was no longer holding it up with this false reality of who I was, because I wasn't that. And I wasn't going to let myself be treated in a way that wasn't me either. So once I quit propping everything up, my marriage fell apart. My in-laws, told me they'd pray for my soul because I obviously wasn't a Christian or didn't believe in God anymore. My parents disowned me. I've got 4 children, and that's a different relationship. And they needed me to be my best self so I could be the best mom for them, which I wanted to be, right? But all these key things just came crashing down in my life. And while I was going through that, that was part of stage 2. I was learning the tools of reparenting, the nurturing, self-soothing, not going to unhealthy coping mechanisms such as disordered eating, which I had done in the past, or allowing toxic shame to creep back in to keep myself stuck in this box. So I learned how to do that over and over again. Also the masculine side, the tools, the masculine as in boundaries, the boundaries I set around myself. Yes, I'm going to be sad for this amount of time. I'm going to stick to this eating and exercise regimen, even if it means, 10 minutes, like setting those boundaries for myself, with myself, and healing what needed to be healed in order to do that. Okay, also phase 2, building up that, what I call that inner strong ninja within yourself. That's important. And that comes as you stand up for yourself. And I'm gonna do a separate video about that specific tool down the road too. Because with all these tools, there can be a overcorrection. So before I started, I didn't have any of them. I just was people pleasing my way to heaven, I guess. I don't know. I kind of like that term. I'm going to use that somehow in a sentence today. I'm going to just people please my way to heaven. But I was people pleasing my way through life, and I didn't have these tools. So I learned how to use them and kept to who I was, that inner sense of who I was. I developed a daily prayer. Well, I'd always prayed, but a meditation practice so that I could tune into myself and how God was leading and directing me. And to get to phase 3, you obviously still are going to have challenges in your life. Stage 3 is not void of challenges, but stage 3, there's now room to create more of that life that you know is out there, where there is more just peace. Your finances start to get more stable. Your life situation basically gets more stable and more on a path that you want to not promote, that you want to sustain, like you want to take care of and grow, and you get joy out of the work that it takes to grow and nurture this life. Part of that for me is my children. So I have a parenting plan and different values that I want to help instill in them. But in my previous life, like pre-authentic life, I still had those values, but it could never happen. I could never solidify them because I wasn't parenting with someone that had the same values. So while I'm trying to, massage and work a situation a certain way so they can see the benefit and the value of treating someone with kindness, not always just going for what you want, right? They're children. They come out like little cave people, and we get to help guide and shape them and enjoy their cave peopleness, right? But now, once I'm into stage 3, and it's really important that the tornado did happen because everything had to be taken back to the roots. But now I'm a strong person in myself. I don't need validation to go ahead with my life. I can now pursue goals that I'm interested in. I can now look at different hobbies I'm interested in, start creating more of that abundant life. Now, there is not repercussion, it's kind of a repercussion that comes with stage 3. And I just want to put it out there as a warning if you find yourself going through this. So at times, there's a sadness that I notice within myself in this stage 3. So I guess part of the benefit of stage 2 for me was that by living in that Pollyanna bubble of denial, there's like this kind of like this not pleasant ignorance, but like this beautiful ignorance in a way, like a child. where, yeah, I'm people pleasing and just kind of going along with the wind, where, I'm not making plans, I'm not creating a life that I want. But the benefit I was getting from the other was I just kind of went along with the wind, right? I went along with whatever all these other people wanted me to be and do. And I didn't have to lose them. So in stage 3, yes, I'm creating a life that I want, and I'm bringing in more people that resonate with me and I have deeper connections with. But there's still a little bit of a sadness at times because things did have to go to the wayside. There are things that I do miss about those relationships and about those times. There are things that my heart aches for my children. One of my biggest things in life was to create that stable mom and dad household for them, and they've had to go through divorce, and I've done what I can to make sure they've got resources available for them and that they're taken care of, and and I'm strong now in a way I wasn't before, where I can pick up the extra slack for them and be there for them, but they're still going through things that, yes, will make them stronger in the long run, and I'm not letting them live in the bubble of denial. But I still have a little bit of a sadness for them in a way, where their child, it's not what I wanted ideally to create for them, but that's okay. So I just mentioned that you may move through some sadness as you go through phase 3. Also, part of phase 3 is as you focus on the lavender kisses for your life, of whatever that means, of creating more of that peace and joy and fulfillment and richness in life, is that you'll always be doing the work. You'll always have different things pop up that you want to work on to get you to those places, to get you to your next goals. I mean, I think this is just common sense. Like, I've got a few pounds I'm working on, right? Like, these last 10 pounds are ruining my life. That's how I feel. Sorry, I like to be dramatic. It makes me happy. I need some drama in my life somewhere. And I am going to beat them. But I can't keep doing what I'm doing and expect them to fall off, right? So I've got to make those changes. Like the me in 10 pounds, visualizing that and embodying that, eats a certain way. Like, it doesn't have to be extreme, but having potato chips late at night when I'm not really hungry isn't going to get me there. And so there's little tweaks that I make along the way now to help refine and get me to my goals. Whereas in phase 2, it wasn't little tweaks. It was like a radical rework of what reality really was and what needed to change. Like, it's like a earth-shattering situation that happens in phase 2, and in phase 3 it can be more tweaks and rearranging and massaging as you're like co-creating with the divine within you to create your life. And I say it in that way because I truly believe we get inspirations within us that excite us and ignite us to a better us, or not even necessarily better, but maybe to a version we would like to be. And we do that. That's the inspiration part. And then we work our way toward it with the little tweaks here and there that we notice within our life. So phase 3 is more of a massaging your life into the directions you want it to go. And as you meet new people or new events, it's going to massage another way. And it's not just butterflies and rainbows, which is what I was trying to express too, is that there can be a sadness or melancholy at time. And also you'll notice little triggers come up because you're still reworking, rewiring, but now we have the tools. So if you're interested in more of this content, please subscribe. I would love to hear things that you're doing in your phase 3 that maybe you didn't even think that you'd be doing, but that you're excited about. I would love to hear more about you. And until next time, take great care.